What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Upper 90 YouTube soccer channel where we talk about soccer, aka football. Today, we are talking about Chelsea and how bad they performed this past weekend against West Brom, of all teams. I mean, I'm not sure what West Brom has in their arsenal, but for some reason, they are able to somehow score and make Chelsea look like a bottom tier table, which again, takes a lot since with Tuchel being in charge, we've only let up 2 goals. But somehow with this match, we let up 5 goals. Now, I want to give my takeaway from this match because again, I think there was a few key points that we should talk about, some bad points, and some things that I think Tuchel should have done different. Obviously, I trust in Tuchel. I'm still happy with what he's doing, but we now know that the honeymoon is over because after that performance, there's no looking back. And it's just so shocking because he just won Manager of the Month for the Premier League. And then to have a game like that, obviously the red card with Thiago Silva is a huge thing. So again, let's dive into the 3 things that I thought we got from this game. First off is why wasn't Christensen starting this match? For some reason, the guy was in contention for Player of the Month for Chelsea and somehow doesn't get the start. Now, I get that Thiago Silva was back from injury, but I think that Christensen should still start, and therefore Thiago Silva maybe should have been playing different, or Christensen should have been on the side of him. But Thiago Silva made some horrific decisions in this game. Now, they're not all his fault because Jorginho, I'm not sure what was going on with him as well, was making some poor passes. Now, the first one, I'm not sure, again, where Jorginho was looking, where to play that ball, but he put Thiago Silva in a bad position. Now, should Thiago Silva cause that fall in the early game? Probably not. I mean, at that point, maybe let the player go and see what happens, but he did, got the yellow card. But his second yellow card was just mind-boggling. You see that with players that are not as well adapted, don't have the composure, and just don't have the knowledge. That was a terrible tackle. There was no reason to go into that. The guy was shooting, the ball was passed, and yet he dove into it and taking him out. And rightfully so, it was a yellow card, and therefore his second yellow for a red card. And I just don't know what was going through his head. And maybe, again, this is a good thing because now that Thiago Silva will be out of the starting 11 again, we'll see Christensen back into the mix, hopefully with Rudiger. And I don't think Zuma should be the other guy as well because he was having just a terrible day as well. I don't know what's wrong with Zuma, but that's my first topic is our defense. We should probably be sticking with Christensen, Rudiger, and Azpilicueta because those 3 guys with Tuchel have been playing well. Now, I get we were playing a terrible team, but again, West Brom somehow plays better against Chelsea. It's just a game that you would think that we would have had full control of, that we shouldn't have an issue with it, and we were even leading this game with a Pulisic goal, which I just don't know what happened because even with 10 men, I feel like Chelsea still has the ability to take on West Brom, but somehow I don't know what Sam Allardyce gave to West Brom, but they looked like a top tier team. They looked Brazilian almost out there with the flair that they had, the passes they were making, that there was nothing that we could really do. Now, again, there are some faults on the team itself. Kovacic, not his fault. I know he had a pretty good game, but Jorginho in the midfield had a terrible game. Thiago Silva had a terrible game. So those are my first points, is that some of the players that we think are going to be stepping up, I don't think are the players that we need anymore. With Tuchel in charge, I think there's been this change in the team itself where we need to have these other players. So again, with Christensen, Rudiger, even Alonso, I mean, I think he had a fairly good game. Yes, he was exposed, but he's not a very well defensive winger, to put it, because again, I know he is a defensive winger, but he's really good going forward, which we saw in this game. He created a lot of chances, which led to the first goal. He even had a few other chances that could have led to another goal. So I don't fault him because, again, his goal is to go forward more and not play defensively, which I think that was the issue with Zuma and him because they were trying to do the same thing, which was leading a huge gap on our defense system. So I think Zuma, Christensen, or not Zuma, Rudiger, Christensen, and Azpilicueta should be in the back. Now, the wingbacks, I think Reece James and Alonso are still good. Obviously, we could make the switch to Chilwell. I don't see if we will or not because, again, I think Alonso has been playing fairly well with our left side. Our midfield, again, I don't know what we're going to do. Conte picked up another injury with international duties, so that's going to be a hard spot to fill because Jorginho can be a solid player for us, but after that match, it makes me question what is going on with him because he looked terrible out there, just downright terrible. I don't know how else to explain how he looked out there, but there was not really a glimpse where he looked well out there. Now, obviously, Kovacic did a decent job out there. Whether we slide Mount into that position to help in the midfield and then possibly put Cho out on the left side or Kai Havertz, something along those lines, I think that's going to be a huge difference. The other takeaway is Timo Werner. I love the guy, but I think he needs to be benched as of right now. Yes, he did have the assist to Mount, but I feel like he should have scored there. It was a tap in, and instead of shooting it, he cut it back and then passed it to Mount, which Mount was able to score, but I think he was even surprised that he was getting the ball played back to him, and he barely got the right touch into it. I think Giroud should probably be up top as of right now. I think he'd be the better forward just because he can finish. We know this. He's shown time and time again, which I think is why he should be up top. I think Timo Werner needs some time to rethink about his whole mindset, his whole ability to score, take some time off, and not have all this stress and struggle with being the forward at Chelsea. Because I think, again, Giroud can be that guy. Now, along with our outside guys, I think that Cho, Havertz, I think those two guys are good. Ziyech, again, is also another solid player to put out there. He did have an okay game. I wouldn't say it was a great game. Overall, the team did not look very well, but I think after going down to 10 men, you still fault the team for playing that bad, but at the same time, you can't fault them because there was this massive gap. And again, with a few players not performing well, there's even this bigger gap in the field. And take nothing away from West Brom, they sliced us up very easily, which again, I did not expect that. We did come and have another goal where it was 4-2, where you're thinking maybe we'll get something back from this like we did the last time. But again, against West Ham, we shouldn't be thinking, hey, we may nick a point back from this game. Because prior to this match, West Brom has not scored many goals. In fact, after playing Chelsea, they've scored 32% of their goals against Chelsea this season, which I don't even know what to say to that because a team that's been playing that bad to come at Stamford Bridge and score 5 goals, that doesn't happen very often. Even when we had Lampard, we had some terrible defensive games. We had Kepa who had some terrible errors, but we never looked this bad. And again, I think Tuchel needs to switch a few things up in this team because I think if he doesn't when we play against Porto in the Champions League on Wednesday, there may be some issues in the team chemistry because I think after performance like that, we have to shake a little bit up. Obviously, not too much because, again, Porto is a very good team. I know a lot of people are saying that Chelsea are easily going to go through this round in the Champions League, but I wouldn't take anything past Porto because, again, they are very defensively. They just made it to the quarterfinals, so obviously they're doing pretty well for their squad as well. I think, though, Chelsea should win the game, but Tuchel definitely needs to make some changes. And again, those changes, it's got to be Werner up top. We need to put Giroud or someone else, maybe doing a false 9 with Havertz again. But I wouldn't recommend that. I would put Giroud up first because I think he's a guy that can score goals and link up play a lot better. On the wings, again, we could do Ziyech, Havertz, Cho, one of those guys, because I think Mason Mount should slide back into the midfield with Kovacic in the game. Along with our defense, really, it should be Alonso. It should be Reece James on the sides or on the wings. And then, like I said, Christensen, Rudiger, and Azpilicueta in that some kind of combination. And overall, Mendy, yeah, I can't fault him either. I mean, he did have a terrible game, but the defense just looked terrible, so I can't really say anything about Mendy. So obviously, I still want Mendy to start. I don't think Kepa should start over him after this match. If you think that, I think you might be a little crazy. But overall, I think we needed this. I really think we did need this because losing this game, I think, is a bigger opportunity for us to go forward now. Because had this happened and lost to Porto, I think that would have been a huger momentum block for us because now that we lost to West Brom in the league, we can take that energy, that being upset with this result, use that towards the Porto game and hopefully get a win there and then keep moving forward because, again, you never want to lose any matches, but sometimes there's a good time to lose a match, and I think this was probably one of the better ones. It was right after international break. Obviously, it was to West Brom, a team you don't think you're going to lose to or drop any points to, but it happened. And overall, we still are in fourth. Somehow Tottenham choked against Newcastle. No surprise there. So we are still in the top four. Fairly lucky right now, but I think moving forward, we should still be okay. I still believe that this team can finish in the top four. I think it's going to be a very close race at the end, but overall, I think Tuchel still has this under control. Not too worried. It's just frustrating to watch that match and see the final result. So comment down below what you think about this, what Tuchel should do differently, what players should maybe have played, or your rating on players. Again, I thought overall we played pretty bad, so I'm not even going to rate any players. I don't think anyone really scored above a 6, maybe Pulisic, but again, he got hurt, which is why he came off in the second half with a hamstring injury. So again, overall, I think the team just played fairly poorly, so I'm not even going to rate anyone. So hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you haven't liked and subscribed to this YouTube channel, make sure to do that. Again, I appreciate that so much. It goes a long way. Helps grow this YouTube channel. So again, just hit and like, subscribe to this YouTube channel. We'll see you next time, and hopefully this Wednesday against Porto, we do a lot better. Fingers crossed, but I know we will.